my fiancée. At our prenup meeting, she said, "My assets stay separate. Your last divorce says enough about your judgment." Her lawyer avoided eye contact. I signed the page calmly. Smart. Later, I quietly reversed one transfer she assumed was permanent. That evening, she opened her wedding binder and froze at what was sitting inside. I'm 35, getting married for the second time in 2 months, and I just learned that some people use your past against you while hiding their own agenda. My first marriage ended 3 years ago. Messy divorce. My ex-wife cheated. I filed. She wanted half of everything despite her affair. We battled in court for 18 months. I lost a lot financially, kept my business, but paid significant alimony. Learned expensive lessons about trust and prenuptial agreements. Met my current fiancée a year after the divorce finalized. She was different from my ex, or so I thought. Successful, independent, had her own career in pharmaceutical sales, made good money, owned her condo, seemed financially secure. We connected quickly, started dating. Things moved fast. After a year together, I proposed. She said yes immediately, started planning the wedding right away. Big event, 200 guests, expensive venue, designer dress, no expense spared. I was paying for most of it. She contributed some, but expected me to cover the majority. Said it was traditional for the groom's family to handle it. I agreed. Wanted her to have her dream wedding. Wanted to start fresh. Wanted to show I was committed despite my past. 3 months before the wedding, she brought up the prenup. We were having dinner. She'd been quiet all evening. Finally spoke up. "We need to talk about a prenup." "Okay, I actually think that's smart." "You do?" "Yeah. After what I went through, I understand the value of protecting assets." "Good, because I need mine protected." "Of course. We'll protect both of ours." She hesitated. "I want to keep everything separate. What's mine stays mine. What's yours stays yours." "That's fair. Standard prenup structure. And I want it clear that your previous divorce, your judgment there, that won't affect me financially." I put down my fork. "What does that mean?" "It means you made bad choices before. Married the wrong person, lost money because of it. I need to know I'm protected from any fallout." "Fallout? We're getting married. We're supposed to be partners." "We are partners. But that doesn't mean I risk my assets because you have a history of poor decisions." "My ex cheated on me. That wasn't poor judgment. That was betrayal." "You chose to marry her. That was the poor judgment." I stared at her. "Are you seriously blaming me for my ex's affair?" "I'm saying you ignored red flags, and now I need to protect myself." We finished dinner in silence. I was hurt, angry, but also pragmatic. She wasn't wrong about needing protection. I'd learned that lesson the hard way. Just didn't like her framing it as my fault. The following week, we met with her lawyer. She'd already drafted a prenup. Didn't ask for my input. Just had it ready. The meeting was in her lawyer's office. Big conference room, mahogany table, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Her lawyer was polished, expensive suit, all business. He walked through the document. Everything separate. No commingling of assets, no shared accounts. Even the house we'd planned to buy together would be in separate portions. 67% her, 33% me, because she'd be putting more down payment. "Wait," I said. "We're splitting the house 67-33? "Based on financial contribution," her lawyer said. "It's proportional." "But we're married. Don't married couples usually do things 50-50? My fiancé spoke up. "Not when one person has proven they make bad financial decisions." "Are you referring to my divorce again?" "I'm referring to the fact that you lost significant money that could have been protected. I'm not making that mistake." Her lawyer avoided eye contact, kept focused on his papers, clearly uncomfortable with her tone. "Anything else?" I asked. "Yes. The wedding costs. You've been paying for most of it. That's considered a gift, not a marital asset. You can't seek reimbursement if we divorce. Why would I seek reimbursement for our wedding? You wouldn't, unless we divorced. Then you might try to claim you paid for it under false pretenses. I'm paying for it because I want to marry you. And this protects both of us. I looked at the prenup again. 17 pages. Every scenario covered. Every asset protected. Her assets. My debts from the previous divorce were mentioned 3 times, highlighted, marked as pre-existing obligations not assumed by bride. My ex-wife's name was even in there, in a clause about previous marital failures and financial imprudence. This document mentions my ex-wife by reference. Why? Her lawyer answered. To establish that debts or obligations arising from your previous marriage remain your sole responsibility. I don't have debts from my previous marriage. I paid everything in the divorce settlement. It's preventative language. Standard protection. I signed the page calmly. Smart. My fiancé looked relieved. Thank you for understanding. I know it seems harsh, but we both need protection. We do. You're absolutely right. We left the meeting. She seemed happy. Lighter, like a weight had been lifted. Kept talking about wedding details, flowers, music, seating charts. I was quiet, thinking, processing, planning. That evening, I went to my own lawyer, the one who'd handled my divorce, explained the prenup, showed him the document. He read it carefully. This is aggressive. Yeah. She's basically protecting everything she has while making sure you're solely responsible for everything you've lost. I know. Why did you sign it? Because I have a plan. I'd been planning something for weeks, ever since she'd started making comments about my poor judgment. Ever since she'd started treating my past like it was a character flaw instead of a painful experience. I'd transferred a significant sum to what I'd presented as our future house fund, $30,000. She'd seen the transfer. Knew about it. Thought it was locked in for the house we'd buy after the wedding. What she didn't know was that the account was actually in my name only. I'd set it up through my business, structured it as a business investment account, told her it was a joint savings. She believed me, never checked. That money was supposed to be my contribution to our future. Now it was my insurance policy. I'm reversing that transfer, I told my lawyer. The $30,000? Yes. She thinks it's locked in a joint account for our house. It's not. It's in my business account, and I'm moving it back to my personal account. Today. She's going to notice. Eventually. Not until after she opens her wedding binder tonight. What's in her wedding binder? A copy of the prenup, and a note from me. He smiled. What's the note say? That I've decided not to marry someone who thinks my past defines my judgment more than her current behavior defines hers. I'd spent the afternoon preparing, printed a copy of the prenup, highlighted every mention of my poor judgment and previous marital failure, added sticky notes with questions. Is this what partnership looks like to you? Do you respect me at all? Why marry someone you clearly don't trust? Put it all in her wedding binder, the one she kept on our coffee table, the one she looked at every evening, planning, dreaming, expecting. That evening I left work early, got to our place before her, executed the transfer, moved the $30,000 back to my personal account, left a paper trail showing it was a business fund reallocation, legal, documented, irreversible without my consent. Put the prenup and notes in her binder, right on top of her vendor contacts and seating chart drafts. Left before she got home. Went to my brother's place. Waited. Update 1, she called at 7 p.m. I was having a beer with my brother. He knew everything. Was supportive. Thought I was doing the right thing. Her voice was shaking. What is this? What is what? The prenup, in my binder, with your notes all over it. Just highlighting some interesting language. Thought you'd want to review it. Why did you write these questions? Because I have them. Do you respect me? Do you trust me? Because this document suggests you don't. Of course I respect you. You called my previous marriage a failure of judgment in a legal document multiple times. That's just protective language. It's insulting language. It's you using my pain against me. That's not what I was doing. Then what were you doing? Silence. Long silence. Then, where are you? Not home. Are you coming home? Not tonight. We need to talk about this, face to face. We can talk, but not tonight. I need space to think about whether I want to marry someone who treats me like a financial risk. That's not fair. What's not fair is you making my divorce about my judgment instead of about someone betraying me. What's not fair is you protecting yourself while making me feel like I'm the problem. I was just being practical. You were being cruel. There's a difference. I hung up. She called back 4 times. I didn't answer. Finally texted, "I'll contact you tomorrow. Need time." My brother asked, "What about the money transfer?" "She'll notice when she checks that account, probably tomorrow. She's going to be furious. Good. She should feel what I've been feeling." I slept at my brother's. Poorly. Kept thinking about the wedding, about the guests, about the deposits, about everything that was about to implode. Update 2. Next morning, she showed up at my brother's apartment, 8 a.m. I was having coffee. She looked like she hadn't slept. My brother answered the door. "He doesn't want to see you." "I know, but I need to talk to him, please." I came to the door. "What do you want?" "To explain, to apologize, to fix this." "You can't fix this." "Let me try." I stepped outside, closed the door. "You have 5 minutes. The prenup was wrong. The language was wrong. I shouldn't have framed it that way." "Why did you?" "Because I was scared. My friend went through a divorce last year, lost everything. She told me to protect myself no matter what." "So you protected yourself by insulting me?" "I didn't mean it as an insult." "How else should I take previous marital failure and financial imprudence? How else should I interpret you blaming me for my ex's cheating?" "I wasn't blaming you." "Yes, you were. The whole document was about protecting you from my poor judgment." "But what about your judgment? You're marrying someone you clearly don't trust." "I do trust you." "No, you don't. And honestly, I don't trust you either anymore." "What does that mean?" "It means I'm not sure we should get married." Her face went white. "Are you calling off the wedding?" "I'm saying I need time to think about whether I want to marry someone who sees me as a liability." "You're not a liability." "Then why does your prenup read like I am?" She didn't have an answer, just stood there, looking lost. "Did you check the house fund account?" I asked. "No. Why?" "Check it, then we'll talk." I went back inside, left her standing there. She pulled out her phone. I watched through the window, saw her face change, confusion, then anger, then panic. She started banging on the door. "What did you do to the money?" I opened it. I reversed a transfer. "What transfer?" "The $30,000 I put in the joint account. Turns out it wasn't joint. It was my business account, and I moved it back to my personal account." "You can't do that." "I already did. It's my money, from my business, legally mine." "But you said it was for our house." "It was, when I thought we were partners. Now I think we're two people protecting separate assets, like your prenup says." "That's vindictive. That's practical. I'm just following your lead, protecting my assets from your judgment." "My judgment?" "Yeah, your judgment. You judged me for my past. Now I'm judging you for your present. Seems fair." She was crying now. "Please, don't do this. We can fix this." "How?" "I'll redo the prenup. Remove that language. Make it fair. It's not about the prenup anymore. It's about respect. And I don't feel respected. I respect you. I love you. You love the wedding. You love the idea of being married. But you don't love me, Not the real me. The me who made mistakes. The me who got hurt. The me who's still healing. That's not true. Then prove it. Tell me one thing from my past that you've supported me through. One thing you've been understanding about. She couldn't. Just stood there, silent. That's what I thought. Go home. I'll call you tomorrow. She left. I watched her get in her car, drive away. Felt nothing. No guilt, no regret, just clarity. Update 3. 2 days later, she sent a new prenup. Completely revised. Fair language. 50-50 splits. No mentions of my previous marriage, no judgmental clauses, just straightforward asset protection. I had my lawyer redo it. Please read it. It's what you deserve from the beginning. I read it. It was fair, reasonable, everything the first one should have been. But I wasn't interested anymore. Called her. The new prenup is fine. So we're okay? We can move forward? No. The prenup being fair doesn't fix the fundamental problem. What problem? That you saw me as a risk until I pushed back, that you only changed when you thought you'd lose me. That's not true. I changed because I realized I was wrong. You realized you were wrong when I took my money back. When I showed you I wouldn't just accept being treated poorly. That's not why I changed, isn't it? If I hadn't reversed that transfer, if I hadn't put those notes in your binder, would you have ever reconsidered that prenup? Silence. Exactly. You changed because I forced you to, not because you wanted to. What do you want from me? I want you to understand that marriage isn't about protecting yourself from your partner. It's about building something together, even when it's risky, even when you're scared. I understand that now. Do you? Or are you just saying what I want to hear? I mean it. Then prove it. Tell me about a time you were vulnerable with me, a time you risked something. She couldn't. We'd been together for a year, planning marriage, and she couldn't name one time she'd been truly vulnerable. That's the problem. You want me to be vulnerable, to risk everything, to trust you completely, but you're not willing to do the same. I can change. I can be vulnerable. It doesn't work that way. You can't force vulnerability. It has to be natural, and clearly, it's not natural for you with me. Are you calling off the wedding? I'm saying I need more time to figure out if this is what I want, if you're who I want. How much time? I don't know. Weeks, maybe longer. The wedding is in 2 months. I know. We might need to postpone or cancel. Cancel? We've paid for everything. The venue, the caterers, everything. Money can be refunded or lost. Better than marrying the wrong person. I'm not the wrong person. Maybe, maybe not, but I need to be sure. Update 4. I took 3 weeks to think, stayed at my brother's place, went to therapy, talked to friends, examined why I'd said yes to someone who clearly had trust issues, realized I'd been so focused on not repeating my first marriage that I'd ignored red flags in this relationship. Her control over wedding planning, her insistence on things being done her way, her subtle criticisms of my past. The prenup wasn't the problem. It was the symptom. She'd been treating me like a project to manage, not a partner to build with. Week 3, I made my decision, called her. We need to meet. Okay, when? Tonight, at the coffee shop where we had our first date. Is this about the wedding? Yes. She was there early, looking nervous. I arrived with a folder, sat down across from her. I've made a decision. And I'm calling off the wedding. Her face crumpled. Why? Because I deserve better. Because you never really saw me as an equal, just as someone you needed to protect yourself from. That's not true. It is true. The prenup proved it. Your reaction to me taking my money back proved it. Your inability to be vulnerable proved it. I can change. I told you I can change. I don't want you to change for me. I want you to be with someone you naturally trust, and that's not me. Don't I get a say in this? You had your say when you wrote that first prenup, when you highlighted my poor judgment and financial imprudence. That was your say. Now I'm having mine. I slid the folder across the table. These are the vendor contracts. I've canceled everything I paid for. You'll need to handle the rest. The venue is non-refundable. That's on you, since you insisted on that specific place. You're making me deal with this alone? You wanted separate assets, separate responsibilities. This is what that looks like. This is cruel. This is honest. I'm not interested in marrying someone who treats me like a liability, who uses my past to justify controlling the present. What about the ring? Keep it, sell it, I don't care. It was a gift, not an investment. What about us? There is no us. There's you protecting yourself and me trying to be a partner. Those things aren't compatible. She was crying now. I love you. Maybe you do, but not enough to risk anything. Not enough to be vulnerable. Not enough to build something real. I stood up. Take care of yourself. Find someone you actually trust. Someone you don't need to protect yourself from. I left. She stayed at the table, crying. I felt bad, but also relieved. I dodged something worse than a messy wedding cancellation. I dodged a marriage built on mistrust. Final update. It's been 6 months. The wedding never happened. We lost some money. I lost about $20,000 in non-refundable deposits. She lost $30,000. She tried to sue me for her losses. Her lawyer laughed her out of his office. You can't sue someone for ending an engagement. She's been posting on social media, vague posting about betrayal, about men who can't commit, about learning painful lessons. Her friends comment supportively. I'm blocked so I only see through mutual friends. I heard she's dating someone new, moved fast. Same pattern probably. Same control. Same protection. Some people don't change. I'm single, focusing on myself. Therapy has helped. Understanding why I attracted someone who needed to control everything. Why I said yes to someone who never truly trusted me. My first divorce taught me about betrayal. This canceled engagement taught me about something worse. About choosing someone who sees love as a liability instead of a gift. The wedding binder incident changed everything. Not because of what I put in it, because of what it revealed. That she'd rather protect her assets than build a partnership. That she'd rather highlight my failures than risk her own vulnerability. I signed that prenup calmly because I knew what was coming. Knew I wouldn't marry her. Knew I'd reverse that transfer. Knew I'd put those notes in her binder. Knew it would force her to show her true priorities. And she did. When she opened that binder and froze at what was inside, she saw her own words reflected back at her. Saw how she'd treated me. Saw what she'd prioritized. And instead of understanding, she got defensive. Instead of apologizing genuinely, she tried to manipulate. Instead of being vulnerable, she tried to control the narrative. I'm 35, single. Learning that sometimes the person who protects themselves most is the one who hurts you most. Learning that prenups are smart, but cruelty is not. Learning that your past doesn't define your judgment unless you let it. And I'm done letting it. Done letting people use it against me. Done accepting less than I deserve.